I do live with contradictions as an artist, and gender inequality exists within the business of Hollywood, and it absolutely is perpetuated by depictions of girls and women and boys and men within the art that Hollywood produces. And so I could either step out entirely and just say, shame on y'all, or like the great social justice nuns within the Catholic Church, I could stay within an institution and a structure that has also been very good to me and has given me so much, including the ability to live out the gift that God gave me and try to do better within that system. And that's the choice I have made. Storytelling is lived experience. Everything that we do is about people. It's about the individual having an opportunity to be witnessed, to be heard, to be understood within their context, and to be given opportunities for increased resilience and agency and capacity. And thus, if it's about a human, it has to be about the human's story. When I wrote a piece recently about son preference, daughter violence, I started with a story, that a girl told me on the third day of her life, her dad tried to drown her in the river because she was a girl. And now she's an empowered 18-year-old who said, I survived attempted infanticide so I could become a strong girl. I look at that story and I say, well, if son preference is allowing a boy to be born, allowing a boy to live, giving him more food, giving him more health care, allowing him to go to school, what are we actually doing to the daughter? Oh, that's daughter violence. So examining this story, I think, brings lived reality to us more vividly.
These women are survivors of sexual violence, armed conflict widows, HIV positive, etc.
This is one of the agricultural projects that's a fairly new initiative of Women for Women International. It's a critical piece of empowering women, not only vocational training, it's helping teach vulnerable and disenfranchised women best practices in terms of farming and growing crops that they can use to feed their families. Food insecurity is an enormous challenge in Eastern Congo, as well as giving them the opportunity to sell some of what they grow to generate income or to make trades.
Interestingly, the story I tell about having been molested when I was 7 years old, I went to my Uncle Mark and I tried to tell him, and it's certainly not his fault. Those young people who didn't believe me, they just really shut me down. But I always knew that he was my safe person. But I went to my Uncle Mark and he was listening to an LP and he had on a headset, and I was sitting slightly out of his eye line and I was practicing, and I wasn't able to get it out that day, but he was my safe person. And part of the gift of working in global development is that I know in those moments when I'm with vulnerable folks that I'm their safe person for a moment of time. And I get to be safe with my literal physical body and with my emotions and with our shared breath. And then I continue to be their safe person by telling their story and having that courage. I think a lot of what I'm able to do when I travel is the verb of mothering. And I'm grateful to be a woman with this particular social construct of gender and what we associate mothering with, because I just get to hold people, and if I were a man, I probably wouldn't be holding a lot of, babies, kids, adult women, and they wouldn't be holding me back. So that's one of the ways in which I'm very grateful to be a woman in development. It allows me to be tactile, to feel someone's heartbeat, to feel their lungs rise and fall as they breathe, to hear the vibration of their voice, or to be able to wipe their tears, and then for someone to reach out and wipe mine. There was a woman in Eastern Ukraine. She took borscht, which I did not know was a vegetable, out of her garden and fed it to me, put it in my mouth with her own hands. The things I get to do because I'm a girl are awesome.